It's Ash from Super Videos back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at some very interesting foreshadowing and Easter eggs that they put in the last episode, Season 1, Episode 5, which was called Endure and Survive. Now, some of these were subtle, but some not so much, but they all revolved around Sam and his eventual fate in the story. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. First thing I want to talk about is the paint around Sam's eyes that obviously Henry painted for him. Now, the obvious reference here is that this is related to his nickname, Super Sam, which Henry himself gave him. So obviously the paint makes him look like a superhero. So this was a cool, clever reference that they put in there. But also at the same time, later on, we do see a red reflection from a window on top of Henry's eyes in the same exact place. So this is supposed to reference back to the paint that he put on Sam's face to begin with. So this was a clever callback and Easter egg, and at the same time, it directly connects with what we see at the end of the episode where their story comes to a conclusion. But I'm not going to mention that here. I'll wait till the end, but keep that in mind because we're going to be coming back to the eyes in just a little bit. But the other very interesting Easter egg actually had to do with the way that Sam's death was set up, and in a way, the foreshadowing for his death. Because obviously, when Ellie went to call him, he attacked Ellie. Now, before we talk about Ellie being attacked, one thing I want to mention here is obviously going back to the eye. Another thing I want to mention is the first thing you notice when Sam turns is his eyes because they're wide open. So that's another direct connection to the setup that we saw earlier with the red paint around Sam's eyes. But obviously, when Ellie is attacked, we hear this screaming coming from the room. And that was actually foreshadowed earlier. When Joel, Henry, Sam, and Ellie were in the tunnels, we saw something very similar. We were looking at Joel and Henry talking, and then suddenly we hear screams, and then Joel turns, but it's obviously nothing serious because Ellie and Sam are just playing a game. But it plays out the exact same way. The only difference is that obviously they're not playing the second time around, and Ellie is actually being attacked. But one thing I want to mention is when this happens the first time, if you pay close attention, Joel reacts, like he panics a little bit, but then realizes it's nothing. But on the flip side, when Sam actually attacks Ellie at the end of the episode, we hear the same exact type of screaming, the same exact yell coming from the both of them. And then obviously this time around, Joel reacts in a panicked way because this time it's real. Ellie is being attacked. So I love the parallels, Easter eggs, and the foreshadowing that they did there. But going back to the conversation about the eyes, the other thing I want to mention is another thing that's definitely key here is the eyes, because we do see the panic in Joel's eyes the first time around when Sam and Ellie are playing a game. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. We see the same type of panic in his eyes later, and by the time he realizes that there is an actual imminent threat, the eyes look wider, and it's even more obvious that there's something going on with his eyes because he's panicking. He's afraid of what's going to happen next. And obviously, the other part of it is Sam's eyes himself. It was wide because he had turned, and if you pay close attention to the scene where Henry points the gun towards his own head and kills himself, you do see his eyes widen, and in a way, it's closely matching to the way that Sam's eyes looked as well, which again goes back to the paint around the eyes that we talked about earlier. So a lot of great references and a lot of great Easter eggs and kind of callbacks that brings all of this together to make Sam's death even more tragic and even more interesting in the TV adaptation. Something that at least I didn't notice quite as much in the video game, but they really focused on that in the TV version. And I think that they did a great job in terms of having all of these things be subtle but obvious enough where you can actually connect the dots when you watch it, especially the second time around. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through in this video. I'm definitely intrigued to know your thoughts and opinions. Maybe I'm just looking into it too much. Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.